Hi, this is Mr. Crane. Let's talk a little bit about we've already talked about the four Ds of problem solving, but let's talk about a little bit of some of the specifics that we can get into. Now, as I said before, we've gone through this process with the four Ds: define, design, do, and debrief. And we also know that these elements are what is called the design process. Okay, and a design process is a systematic problem-solving strategy with criteria and constraints used to develop many possible solutions to solve and satisfy human needs or wants, and to narrow down the possible solutions to one final choice. So basically, all that is, it's a way to get all our ideas out so we can narrow it down and figure out what we're going to do. Now, as we work through this process, remember that you can decide at any point when to loop back to a previous point if things aren't going right. But let's talk a little bit more specifically on a couple of these points and some of the elements that are involved. First, the define process. In the design process, there's something that's called a design brief. And basically what a design brief is, it's just a written plan that identifies a problem to be solved. It shows us the criteria, the constraints, all that kind of stuff. And it's used to encourage all kinds of different kinds of thinking for getting that problem solved. Now, this helps us to generate a lot of different ideas through brainstorming, research, considering all kinds of options, applying the STEM principles, and then finally selecting a bunch of approaches, which leads us to our decision matrix. And this is still in our define process where we're figuring out exactly what it is we want to try to do. And this is before we've developed it, but we've got at least an idea. And the decision matrix is basically just a tool that helps us compare a bunch of designs and then decide which ones should be the ones that we should actually proceed with. Okay, and we do this by having different evaluative areas that we then rate. Next, this leads us into, of course, design. And the big thing with design is now that we've got a couple directions we want to go, or even just one direction we want to go, we start to develop how we're going to create that. And this often involves technical drawings. And technical drawings are just the means to provide all the information we need to actually decide what we're going to make. So we're talking about materials, the size of what we're making, the shape, how it's assembled, everything like that would be in our technical drawings. And this, of course, is that design step. Next, of course, takes us to the do step. And do is where we actually build what we're going to build, where we construct and test prototypes. Now remember, the models might come in earlier as we try to plan out our ideas. And remember the difference between a model and a prototype. A model is basically, it's like a cardboard cutout. It's something that just represents what our plans or ideas are, wherein a prototype is an actual working model of what a working model as opposed to just a stick figure model, but it's actually something that works according to our plans. And this is something that we can test and evaluate and figure out the pros and cons for to decide how it needs to be changed. And then once we've done that and we've been able to test it, that testing leads us into our debrief stage, where we actually evaluate what's going on, we make recommendations for changes, we optimize, we redesign, we present those solutions, the things that worked, the things that didn't, and make those recommendations. Okay? And as in with this design process, that debrief stage is a great point to figure out at what point we need to go back. Do we need to start all the way back and define the problem again? Do we need to redesign, or is there something in the construction process that went wrong that we need to look at? So again, this debrief point is a good place to figure out where we need to regroup if we do need to. Okay? And that's how the design process fits into these 4 Ds of problem solving.